we're going to bring our guest in, man. We're going to bring our guest in and do a bit of NBA talk, man. We have got the homie, Big Dave from CHGO in the room. Hold on, we're going to bring him in now. There we go. Big Dave from CHGO, man. You can follow him at Ball Sports on Twitter. Hey, what's going on, bro?
Peace, fellas. What's going on? Everything smooth, man. How y'all feel?
What's good? What's good?
Doing pretty good, brother. Good to have you
Everything
on, man,
right,
to talk. Good to have you back on, man, to talk some Chicago Bulls basketball, man. This has been a weird season, I would say, because I feel like there's been some improvements a little bit, but it's also kind of been same shit, different toilet. You know, as of right now, as it stands, they're the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference, 23 and 26. They won a game the other night. I think it was against Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was against Charlotte. Just before we get into like the obvious Zach LaVine talk that everybody's been talking about, what is your opinion on this season and how it's been going?
Oh man! First of all, I'm sad that y'all brought me on here like this because y'all were talking about stuff I wanted to talk about, which was Jim Harbaugh and football and shit like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely what I want to get. I got to talk about the Bulls. Oh damn! All right. You know, right. I will say I'm one of the few that wants the Bulls to actually go to the playoffs or actually get to the postseason, play in playoffs. I want that because I like winning. I like going to the postseason. That's a fun thing for me. And also, I think it helps with the growth of your younger players like Kobe White, like Ayo Dosunmu. When you start putting that in their heads that this is the floor for this team, is that we make the postseason, I think it's a good thing more so than actually continuing to lose, continuing to tank, continuing to try to start over and hoping you can get a younger player that can get in here and do something for you. I'd rather just roll like that. I like the culture of actually winning. So I'm from that. Maybe I'm just old school with it like that, but that's just me. That's how I roll. So them trying to make the postseason is what I'm for, is what I'm about. How they've been doing it has definitely been, man, I don't even know what you call those things that go like this when you're in the hospital, that beep, 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 like up and down and shit like that. Yeah. It's been like that. It's been like that. Like you think they would get there, they'll get right to that game where they're 1 game or 2 games below 500 and they're playing a team like the Raptors they did last week who don't have anybody out there and the game is right there for you. You beating the Raptors at home for like 4 straight years. Like they ain't beat you at your house and I don't know how long. And then they don't have any of the players that they need. They traded them away and they're injured. And you're like, cool, let's go get this win. And they get their ass stomped. And you're like, damn, again. So that sets them back. And then, you know, you got to play these, of course, better teams, you know, in your own conference. And then, of course, the better teams in the West. And so it's just like they keep taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And that's the kind of team you're going to have. That's the team that's going to hover around 500 is those kind of squads. So personally, it's been cool for me. It hasn't depressed me. It started off slow, you know, like October and November. They caught fire in December and kind of came back to earth in January. But just watching the growth of Kobe White, watching the growth of Ayo, who's been super consistent, probably the most consistent player the Bulls have outside of DeMar DeRozan all season long. Watching those guys actually grow, and Julian Phillips too, I throw him in there, and Dalen Terry just because I'm probably the only person who likes Dalen Terry. I just like watching him play, bro. And so watching those young guys get that opportunity to grow and get better has been cool for me. But it ain't been cool to watch Vooch just be ass. It ain't been cool, you know, to watch Drummond, who I call 60-40, because you know you don't know what you're gonna get. 60% of the time he's good, 40% of the time he's not, and sometimes it flips. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have no clue what you're getting. That ain't been fun. It's not been fun watching 3-point shooting just be trash. It's not been fun watching Billy Donovan also be okay. I'm not blaming everything on Billy Donovan, but he definitely, when your team is like this, everybody gets a part of the blame, in my opinion. So he gets some of that too. The front office not doing anything, you know, those kind of things. And Zach, of course, being hurt, who I'm sure we'll get into. That none of that has been fun. But watching the young guys and watching them try to, you know, build their culture has been the fun part for me.
Definitely, man. I also want to. I'm gonna get your opinion on some football stuff here too. We gonna have
All
you
right.
talk about some non-depressing shit. I'm definitely gonna get your
Oh
opinion
man.
on what's going on in the NFL, and when we get to that part in a minute. But I think to me, when you just said 60-40, that's something that kind of stands out to me because when I look at the Bulls, I want to just. I've told this story on your show, and I've said this
Yes, sir.
before. The Bulls are like my first love. Like the Bulls are
Yes,
like,
sir.
the woman who you fall in love with, that's your baby mama. Like you didn't marry her, but that's your baby mom. Like, and y'all not together, but you still got love for her, even though she be tripping. You know what I'm saying? That's who the Bulls are for me. Like Michael Jordan, the '90s Bulls, the reason I became a sports fan. So I can never give up on them. I gave
Yeah.
up on the Chicago White Sox, and I don't plan on coming back. I don't. I've been in Los Angeles for 10 years. Go Dodgers, okay? And we Shohei Ohtani gang over here right now. So I can't do the Bulls like I do. The Bears are like the Bears are that woman now never quit. It don't matter how
Yeah.
dirty they do me, I will always be there. That's who the Bears are. So with the Bulls right now, I'm trying to treat them like, and I use this comparison with Bang. Bang has kids, so he told me this is spot on. It's like when your kid is in the room, like you watching them, but you ain't really paying attention to what they really doing. That's me with the
Yeah.
Bulls. Like,
Okay.
I
All
might
right. All right. All right.
oh shit, put that remote down. Put that remote down. Like I might do that every
Right.
now and then, but like, so this kind of I just been paying attention, but not paying attention. But one of the things that has like stand out to me was the player Kobe White. Kobe White played well last year, but I thought that was a contract year type thing. He got paid and he's been balling and it's been consistent every night. Like I said, I'm not a big Dalen Terry guy, but I'm also glad he's finally getting minutes because if you draft a guy, and there's one thing we will have to say about the AKME era is that their draft picks haven't been on the floor. It's just that damn simple. So if you look at the good things about that and you see how young Kobe is and whatever, in your opinion, why don't the Bulls treat, just go the full rebuild route? We know that that's not something that rebuilds in the NBA alone. And not the Thunder been doing this for 5 years since they traded Paul George, and they finally starting to look good.
Yeah.
But why do you think that the Bulls won't commit to rebuilding?
Well, one they don't want to, and two, I don't think they can. I don't think they're good at it.
Okay.
AK, when he walked in, told you exactly what he wanted to do. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to make the postseason. We want to go for championships. And he also says, I don't like drafting high. I can't stand drafting high. I like drafting in the lower rounds. So he told you right there from Jump Street, I'm not a dude that's, wants to be in the high, top 5, whatever picks, making these selections. I'd rather be in the teams getting it like that. That's evident with the pick of Patrick Williams at number 4. You know what I mean? Like that's evident there. That was one of them. Let me try to sneak in and grab something that, most people might not be looking at. Solid pick, but maybe a little bit too high for number 4. When guys like Tyrese Halliburton and all that, in hindsight, looking at it, you're like, damn. But that's just not how they're set up to be. They're set up to be more like the Miami Heat and mentally. That's how they're trying to do. They're trying to do like Pat Riley. They're just trying to go to the playoffs every single year, no matter what. And then hope when they get to the playoffs, see what happens. Somebody gets hurt. Somebody gets injured. We start playing tough. We catch a run, and then we go on it and we do it that way. That's exactly what they're trying to do. And they feel like doing it that way will attract free agents to come here and want to, help them get over that hump. One, because you're trying to be a winning team. Two, because you're the Chicago Bulls and things like that. So it looked great when the first half of the season when Lonzo and everything was kicking. But then once that went down and you had to actually change and, make some maneuvers, now it's looking real insane. You know what I mean? It's like looking real crazy for them. So I don't want them to do something that they've already said they're not good at doing. Like if you tell me, you know what I mean? If you tell me you can't cook, I'm not going to ask you to get in the kitchen and get me a 7-course meal going. You know what I mean? Like they're not good at it. It's not what they want to do. Billy Donovan don't want to do that either. People try to leave him out of this too. He's a part of this as well. They come as a package. He don't want to start over either. That man was retired. That man was at home in Florida. They drove down there to get him, not to come retool and start over. They drove down there to get him, to bring him here to be the piece that could carry this team deep into the playoffs. So nobody in that front office has that mindset of, guys, we need to actually restart this team. Now they might retool it. They might flip some players, you know what I mean? Like a Zach or hopefully or DeMar. I've been trying to get them to trade Caruso for a year, but hopefully they can do those kind of things, to help, retool your team. So they'll do a retool, but they're not going to restart nothing because Billy ain't gonna start over, man. He'll go back home, to Florida and chill out. And AK is just not good at it, and Mark Eversley is just not good at it because they keep telling you. So at some point in time, when they keep telling you they ain't good at something, we got to listen to them. Like this ain't what they want to do. They telling you this is not what we want to do. So we can't just keep getting mad at them for doing exactly what they said they want to do. They're not good at it. So I'm okay with that. I just want them to be better at what they say they are good at. You understand what I mean? Like, you say you're good at this, then be better at that. That's what I need.
Yeah, definitely, bro. And we've mentioned it, like, they don't want to rebuild. That's not what they want to do. They claim they're not good at it. But even when we talk about retooling, we've been one of the least active teams in the trade market over the past few years. So my question to you is this: like, do you expect them to once again talk this talk, but stay put at the trade deadline? Or are we gonna actually see some movement?
And that's what's pissing everybody off, including me, is that kind of talk. When they continue to say, oh man, we're going to be aggressive, we're going to be active, we're going to try to get these guys in here and do these things. And they were in the beginning when they got Vooch. That was an aggressive move, to go do that. When they got Zoe signed at 501 of the trade, that's an aggressive move. Getting DeMar, and trading a first round pick and those are aggressive ass moves. And then they just stop, and then they just stop doing those things. Now, some of that might be ownership saying, bro, you right near this cap. We're not going over this. And you can't make these moves any further than this. Some of that is definitely money, for sure. No question about it. Yeah. But it at some point has to be about the basketball at some point in time, right? Like, some point in time, you got to bring in the right kind of players. Listen, man, it's been the kind of guys they've been bringing in have been guys you bring in who are like, okay, we're ready to win now, kind of things. When you bring in an Andre Drummond and who was the my guy, white guy who just retired, point guard that they brought in. I can't remember his name right now.
Dragic?
Play for Miami. Dragic, thank you.
Dragic,
when you bring in him and you bring in Dragic, you're like, okay, bet. We're gonna, make these moves because we're going to the playoffs. Those are playoff moves that you're like, we just need a little tooling right here and we're good. Okay, what about this 3-point shooting that you guys are bad at? No, we good. Just give me Dragic. Let's get some rebounds and we'll be fine. Okay, your 3-point shooting still stinks. You're still small. Come to the next season. Fine. Here's another all season to get it together. Okay, what you need? 3-point shooting. You still need it. Okay, let me go get Javon Carter. You know what I mean? And I hate going against the hometown. I despise saying anything bad about the hometown, bro. I hate it to my core. But I can't lie. Like, that's the conflict. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the conflict. But you go get Javon Carter, who I like, who I've always liked since college, since he was with Rod Huggins. I've always liked him, man. But he's been a bulldog, and I've known him as bulldog dude for defense, and he can hit the 3-point shot. Like, he was one of the best from the corner in the league. He was one of the best in transition in the league. And now he barely shoots like 30-something%, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's put that Bulls jersey on and everything just zapped and disappeared. Maybe it's playing time. I don't know. But my point is, you still knew the problem was going to get you some 3-point shooting. You still knew that was the issue. Let me go get Torrey Craig, who's not known for that. And let me go get Javon Carter, who won't solve that. So you brought in another guard. And the team, you already got like 4 or 5 guards. And so you still have no size. You still have no legit threat at 3-point line. And now you got a disgruntled Zach LaVine who wants to move on. So you didn't really address any of the problems that have been problems for the past few years. And that's where the frustration is at. And that's where it's getting confusing, as you just said, for Bulls fans. Like, bro, like, you keep telling them this stuff, like what you're going to do, and then you're just not doing it. So you're not doing these things that you say that this team needs. And you're like, well, just hold on. Wait till the picks, and wait till everything settles. And then, no, we can't wait no more. This ain't a cake. Like, we ain't waiting for it to cool off to eat. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's time to serve us, man. Like, serve us what you've been promising. And I'm not even asking for a lot. I'm just asking for something respectable. That's all we're talking about here. Something respectable.
Before we get the Bangs question, I just had one. So we talk about Zach LaVine real quick, because the Zach LaVine debate in the city is like, it's not to the level of Caleb and Justin, obviously, but it's on that same fucking boulevard where I feel like we're not having medium type of conversations. Either he's trash or he's better than what we think he is. For me, I like Zach. Do I love Zach? No. Now, to be very clear, I'm a big Jimmy Butler guy. Now, I've been a Jimmy Butler guy since I was very pissed off when we traded Jimmy Butler. I was at the motherfucking Lakers draft party in Long Beach, California, because everybody wanted Lonzo. Remember that draft like it was yesterday. And they traded Jimmy. That ended up being Zach LaVine, Laurie Marketing, and I don't know where the hell Chris Dunn is, but Chris Dunn was part of that deal too. And I was irate. I had to be talking. I had to be talked down. I was so fucking pissed off. But I think Zach, for what he's done in this time, has been good, but it hasn't been great. And now at the part right now, because you have him that contract, which I was not against. I was happy when he signed. If the Bulls weren't going to give it to him, somebody else was going to give him that money. But it's now starting to become like everybody knows who Zach LaVine is, and they don't want to give up prime access to get him, and if the contract is hurting. In your opinion, like, what should the Bulls do about that situation? Because now it's kind of feeling like if they trade him, it's just going to be a salary dump. And as much as you might want to get rid of Zach, he's still too good of a player to just salary dump him. So what do you feel about, rumors saying that there's a good chance that he might actually stay put?
Oh, man. First of all, I was not a Jimmy Butler fan. Let me start. I was not a fan like that.
There was a lot of people. I was by myself for a long time.
Yeah, man. That wasn't my guy. I wasn't with him like that. So when he got traded, I was like, okay, right on. Like all right. Now, not to say he couldn't play. I remember when he went to Miami, I was like, oh man, he about to ball out down there. I thought that was.
I survived the Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler Cold War in Chicago. I remember those days.
No, I feel you, bro. But yeah, man, he just was never my guy like that. But I knew he was going to be good. I just knew that. I knew he was going to be good when he went to Miami. But outside of that, with Zach LaVine, man, I think as of right now, and I don't hate Zach. I'm probably in that boat with you. Like I don't hate Zach like that. But Zach is what I talked about when I talked about the young guys, how I don't want them to get used to losing. Because I think you see what that is with Zach. And Zach is used to losing, man. Like, I was the one who came out and was with that stat a few years ago when I told everybody he had never won 4 games in a row in his NBA career. Yeah. So when that happened, I'm like, this is a dude who just knows that. You know what I mean? So that's your baseline, is I know what it feels like to lose. So I know how to react when things are going wrong, when things ain't cooking, when things are messed up. I know what bag to dip into, and it's this bag of shit that I'm so used to dipping into right here because I'm used to losing. So Zach has that mentality for me, and I don't like that at all. Mm-hmm. As far as him as a play, like, he's good. Like, I ain't saying he can't play. Like, I mean, come on, dude. This is a 50, 40, 80 guy. Like he can play. Like, he know he can get down to 2-time All-Star. Like, he can hoop. We all know this. He's a different kind of hooper. Like, I know he's better with a point guard. I think we all saw that when Lonzo was here. We know he's better with a point guard. We get that. What I think they should do and what I think is going to be their course of action is Zach is going to be here after the trade deadline. Because you can't just give this dude away. And honestly, the league is like, we don't want him, and I hate the argument when they try to say, well, we don't want him because he's a losing. Listen, this is strictly about money. This ain't about losing player.
All is, yeah.
That's it. I ain't trying to hear that losing player shit at all. Because when Bridges in Charlotte is getting people who want him. All right. What Bridges know about winning? You know what I mean? Even in Charlotte, he know.
What should Bridges know about freedom? He should be in fucking jail.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Chain gang, brother. Like, he should be there. But no, he might be in Phoenix. You know what I mean? Playing and hooping there. But he ain't got that Zach LaVine kind of contract. So it ain't about that. It's strictly about that money with Zach LaVine. So when it's about that, I don't think that should be a good enough reason to just give that kind of talent away. If you can make a trade for him, fine. I'm cool with it. Like, if you send me Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, and that little other guard Mitchell they got, fine, make the trade. You know what I mean? Like, get it in, do that, fine, make the trade. Take that loss that way. But I'm not just going to give him away when I know I can still do the same thing in the offseason, because they're saying the Bulls might have to attach someone, to trade Zach LaVine. They're going to have to do that in the offseason anyway, if they're going to trade him. So just wait till the offseason, play him, let him do his thing. I wrote an article about this, man, a while back, saying that this was Zach's career was on the line when he came back from that first injury. Like, this is his career that we're talking about, bro, because if he comes out and balls out, he can write his ticket. But if he doesn't, I don't know where he could end up. And obviously he wanted to end up in a place where it was winning going on. That's why he signs with Clutch. You know what I mean? It's why he's taking pictures with Clutch, wearing Clutch hoodies, sitting on the sideline. Thought it was all sweet and found out it wasn't at all. And I mean, not even by a little bit. So now he might end up in places like Detroit, you know what I mean? And other kind of places like that. So you don't know where he's going to end up. But I think I'll just end it by saying I think he'll still be here. I think that's the right move for the Bulls financially to do, because you could still trade him in the offseason, especially after to attach somebody, because he is still a talent, and a talent that you still kind of need on your squad. A dude, you don't really have no three-point shooters. You know what I mean? You don't really have nobody that gets to the bucket like that outside of Kobe, who's showing you he can do that now, and a little bit of Io as well too. But it's a little bit better coming from a dude his size, you know, with that kind of athleticism that can do it. His stuff is all mental. So it's mental and it's money with Zach LaVine. You know what I mean? So, and one of them is going to have to break, you know what I mean, for him to get what he wants. So, yeah, he'll be here, in my opinion. I think he'll be here.
It's messed up hearing he wanted all of the Clutch benefits and going to end up in Siberia. The way it's going on. Now it's just funny because, you know, when people get the Clutch, it's like
in a Rockefeller chain.
No, I'm gonna even go better. You know, than keep it Chicago. It's like when niggas start getting treated hats. That Clutch hoodie is like when niggas was getting treated hats. Like, you not getting all these benefits of this treated hat, nigga. You ain't getting no cat. You thought you get smashed from Shorty over there.
You ain't getting the Soho House, nigga.
You ain't getting the Soho House, nigga, because you got that treated hat on. Hey, my questions around the front office. You know, we grew up on Jerry Krause.
Yes, sir.
We end up getting GarPax.
Yes, sir.
Now instead of AKME is AKME. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like we in Looney Tunes era right now. You know, instead of a C, it's a K. So how are we ranking this front office, or better yet, comparing this front office from the prior front office of GarPax? Are they worse? Did we downgrade?
Okay, I would say, judging from their first five or their first four to Paxson's first four, Paxson is better in his first 4 years because of the drafts that he made. It was the one place I thought Paxson was always good at, was in the draft. I thought they always made pretty good. Yeah, he could draft even the guys he got back in the Jimmy Butler trade, even though they thrive somewhere else. The point is they're thriving, you know what I mean, somewhere else. And you mentioned Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn is in Utah right now with Lowry, and he's starting. You know what I mean? He's starting.
I had no idea.
He's starting.
He's a starting point guard.
Chris Dunn.
I thought my man was working at Trader Joe's or something. I had no idea he was in the league.
I thought Chris Dunn was a gym teacher or like a player personnel.
Yeah, me too.
And like Colorado, like the head of player development at Colorado.
Yeah, he's working with Prime or some shit.
Wow.
Back in Providence doing his thing. No, brother. He is there, and he signed a contract. And I believe Zach Lowe called him the best on-guard defender in the league right now.
Wow.
Like, seriously. Like, seriously, it's like that. It's like that, bro. It's like that.
Yeah, this is going to be like the I'm not going to hold you who he play for. That's exactly what this is.
Dude, he's in Utah, man, with Lowry. And that's the reason he's in Utah, because him and Lowry were cool here. So, you know, he gave him his opportunity. I think last year he signed a 10-day, then signed another one, then signed for the rest of the season. And now that's your starting point guard of the Utah Jazz, bro. It's Chris Dunn. So, yeah, he's still doing. And I'm just like, I thought it was a wrap. I thought it was Rap City for that man, dog. Like,
I apologize to Chris Dunn.
Yeah, I apologize, Chris Dunn. I definitely thought you were going to ask me, so do you want the other Trader Joe's wine? We got some better Trader Joe's wine over here. That's what I thought he was doing. But my apologies, Chris. I don't want no problems, dog.
Oh, man. But their picks usually play, you know, well. They draft well. That was one of the only things they kind of did. They didn't really get a coach right until Tibbs, and they hated him because he's Tibbs, and they couldn't really control that dude, nothing like that. So yeah. But as far as AK, for me, they started off right. They evaluated what they had, and they did the first thing that I wanted them to do was to get rid of the ball-headed menace they had coaching. And I was like, bet, get rid of that dude. Step one, day one, get him the hell out of here, please. Thank you. So I was like, man, they just bought 2 years for me just doing that. So they got rid of him. I thought the moves they made, I liked them because they were aggressive. Like I just mentioned, the Vooch, the Lonzo, the Caruso, the DeMar, bringing those guys in, drafting Io, I thought showed exactly what AK says, that I'm better at drafting in the later rounds because you drafting that dude in the second round, pick 38, and he's been awesome for you. And matter of fact, he played from day one, and Billy Donovan don't play rookies like that, but Io played from day one when he walked in the door. So that's showing you that they are solid at that level. And they got to first team in the East by the All-Star break. Now, we all know the flaws that they had. They still didn't have great three-point shooting, and they couldn't beat the bigger teams. So in that world, when Lonzo was still around, I was just thinking, okay, all season, you can make those moves of getting Andre Drummond, a Dragic, a Torrey Craig, all those things when you're stacking and your team is already built. It's like they still think their team is already built, and it's not. They have to, break some of this down. You know what I mean? Like Jenga or something. Like they got to break some of this down, dog, and not start over, but just retool it a little bit. But
so
I would have to give. I guess I would give Paxson the nod for the first 4 years, but I'm not going to say AK, sir. I'll probably give him a C minus if I had to give him a grade.
So I want to stop right there because I'm glad that you said how you just said that.
Okay.
What does Mark Eversley do? Like he's the one GM that
we don't know what the fuck he does.
Don't know what he do. Like, do he be at the 50-yard line just kicking it? You know what I'm saying? Do he have club nights? Like, what does Mark Eversley do? Because I don't know what he do.
Do you see that nigga at the WIT on the weekend? Like, what the
fuck? I probably have more interactions with Mark Eversley than most people. Like, I don't know why, but I've run into him a couple times. Like when we were at Summer League.
Where?
At Summer League, when I was at Summer League, past two. Like, no, not just on the 9. You know what I'm saying? That happens. It wasn't that, dog. Like, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. You know what I mean? Go get that off the wall for me. What up, Mark? It wasn't that.
You just ain't gonna scout nowhere, huh? You just ain't gonna scout nothing. You at Kenwood.
Yo, right. You know what I mean? Give me 10 on pump 6. Yo, Mark, what up, bro? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? It wasn't that. You know what I mean? Like, he was actually doing basketball shit. So he was there for that. And then we had him on our show when they had the Big Bulls. I can't remember what it's called. But it was like a Bulls Fest, excuse me. It was Bulls Fest. They had it at the United Center over the summer. We had Mark Eversley on the show then. I mean, he's a nice dude. He's a great guy. But when you ask me what does he do, I would say he's the one that actually got DeMar DeRozan to come in here. That was one of the main things I thought he signed. Because he and DeMar were tight because of where he came from in Toronto. His usage was supposed to be the contacts that he was supposed to have because of his connections with Nike, because that's where he worked at. So he was supposed to have those contacts and connections there. We got Dragic. you know what I'm saying? So I would like to see that.
He need to be part of the team to get DeMar and his 3X flannel coats out of here so they can get a fur. And I love DeMar. You know what I love about DeMar? He West Coast all day. Like he West Coast to the core. Like that. I fuck with DeMar.
So basically you saying there's Worldwide West and it's West Side West. And West Side West. West Side.
Over at Remus when I was seeing him.
Right. West Side West.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gonna catch my
be there. Right.
Madison Street Mark. You know what I'm saying? Madison Street Mark. You know what I'm saying?
I like that right there.
You know
Madison
we just got one last question for you, man, and we're gonna get you up out of here. I think it's mandatory to ask anybody in the Chicago media space as we get closer and closer to the big decision day. Where do you land on the Justin Fields, Caleb Williams discussion?
Oh, thank you for asking me that. I've been wanting to talk about this. I am for Caleb Williams. And I mean, I like Justin Fields a whole lot. How could you not? How could you not sit there and watch this dude and not think this dude can't play quarterback? This dude is good. All right. Justin Fields is really, really good. The two things I value most in my quarterbacks, like when I'm just talking about quarterbacks I love, number 2 is accuracy and number 1 is awareness. Now, Justin is really, he can be accurate. You know what I mean? You've seen some of them passes that he makes. I mean, you don't have a game throwing somebody 3 touchdowns like DJ Moore and not be accurate. Some of them corner passes in the end zone were outstanding that he was making. And some of those other passes, they just dropped because of the receivers that he had. Aquinius St. Brown and, you know, guys like that. Like, they were just dropping passes. But Justin can throw the ball. He has always concerned me with his awareness. He's not, he hasn't shown me that there has been any growth in that department since he's gotten here. He doesn't feel pressure like that when he's in the pocket. Now, he can get outside of it for sure and make a play and things, but a lot of those times he don't really feel that pressure and he don't get rid of that ball enough. That's been the knock on him since Ohio State. Now, excuse me, it was easy for Ohio State, a little easier because of that offensive line he was behind. You could take your time all day long, you know what I mean, and throw it. And not to say Caleb didn't have that luxury either, because he definitely had that luxury too. But with his, like Justin, I see him just standing back there and it doesn't look comfortable yet. And I just haven't seen the growth in that awareness the way it looks comfortable. But the main thing, guys, why I want to move on is because the league does not protect Justin Fields. The league treats Justin Fields like they did Cam Newton. They as soon as he takes a hit, they just like, okay, yeah, you big. They do him like they did Shaq. You big, all right, fine. You get up, you'll be fine. So when you have a whole season where you don't get any personal foul calls against you as a quarterback, and we saw the hits that he was taking, head bouncing off the turf, you know what I mean? That dude was getting smacked, and they called nothing. Like, you got 0 calls. They're not out to protect you. That bill is come due. That bill always comes due. All right. I don't care how superhuman you're built in the NFL, that bill, the injury bill, comes due. And so that's why I'm like, okay, I'd rather move on from a dude I know the NFL is going to protect. The NFL is going to protect the number 1 pick. And then we're going to protect somebody they feel is a quote unquote generational guy. They're going to have something for him. With Justin, he's taking those licks, and it's scaring me that he'll take more and more and more here with the Bears, because that's the Bear thing to do is be tough and all that. No, man, bump that shit. Listen, I want my quarterback to get the ball out of his hands and preserve himself so we can continue playing these games and hopefully get down there and win. I think Justin would thrive in another place like Atlanta. If he went back home, I think he would thrive. You know what I mean? In places like that. But that's the reason I would like to move. I've never seen the Bears in this position where they're able or having the opportunity to draft somebody that can change your whole franchise at the quarterback position. I've never been in that position with them before, ever in my life. And I've been a Bears fan for a long ass time, bro. So being here, I don't want to miss out on that. I won't be mad if Justin goes somewhere and is balling, but I will be furious if Caleb Williams goes somewhere and is balling, dog. I'll be furious.
That's where I came to the conclusion, because everybody knows I'm a Justin guy. I've been a Justin guy since I watched them on QB1 on Netflix. But you just left out right there. I still wake up in cold sweats knowing that we didn't get Patrick Mahomes, because what we heard in how Brian Pace actually evaluated him, he actually said the phrase that no human being has ever said in their life: if Mr. Trubisky isn't there, we'll take Patrick Mahomes. So that's what drove it. Like, I can live with turning on my TV next year and Justin got a light show going on in Vegas or Atlanta. I can live with that. What I can't live with is if we keep Justin, he keep doing the same bullshit he do, and I see, look at Caleb Williams, and I see Collins talking about, that's a guy right there, Caleb Williams. I don't want to hear that shit. I need to be happy for once in my goddamn life. Like that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Thanos at the end of Infinity War. We told little Gamora, you know, I'm sorry, little one. That's how I feel about Justin. I'm sorry. But this is a unique situation, and the game is the game. That's just pretty much where I'm at with it, man.
That's real shit.
Definitely, bro. Glad to talk to you, man. Always good to talk to you, man, about sports, you know, Bulls, everything, man. If anybody who are not in tune with Dave, definitely get into him with Dave, CHGO. Y'all do the pre and post game show for the Bulls. I don't watch a lot of Bulls games unless I'm just bored out of my fucking mind, but I do watch you and Matt Peck all the time on y'all show, man. So I definitely appreciate them. Let people know where they get in tune with you, bro.
Man, appreciate you me on this. Like, we've had this discussion before, just how much respect I got for you and what you do. You know what I mean? Like we already had that discussion, but I'll reiterate it again, brother, because it's true. But yes, you can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, at Ball Sports, BAWL, Bow Sports. You got to say it like Avery Johnson saying it. You can follow me on Instagram at Big Dave CHGO. Yeah, and that's why those are the two places I'm mainly at, unless I'm writing something for allchgo.com or doing takeovers and watch parties, you know, for CHGO Bulls. We got a takeover on Tuesday when they play the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's sold out. We're going to the game. Going to have a good time. We'll have some watch parties also coming up. But yeah, just stay tuned to, you know, my Instagram, my Twitter page, and I'll definitely keep everybody informed on that, man. But appreciate y'all brothers having me on, man.
That paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna